Let me start by pointing out that sustainable energy provision is of great importance to every city, indeed in every community in this land from California to the New York Island. It is also at the top of the agenda around the world, from my hometown in India to the exploding megacities in emerging economies and for the thousands of African villages without electricity. Therefore, I would like to touch on three themes today. One, on access to energy. Second, on urbanization and energy. And finally, on US cities and how they can provide leadership to the world in these two areas. Let me start by saying that energy is the best example there is of a local issue that has global implications. Seen from outer space, America's cities form a network of bright veins of light on the global landscape. It is evidence of America's prosperity, ingenuity, and industry. But if you shift on this map from US to Africa, you will see only the dim outline of a dark continent at night. In sub-Saharan Africa in particular, home to 850 million people, more than 2/3 don't have access to electricity. In some countries, electrification is less than 10%. People live in darkness after sunset or make do with kerosene and candles to light their homes. This is not only inefficient and expensive, but it also causes health and fire hazards. The 48 countries of sub-Saharan Africa have a generation capacity of 78 gigawatts. To put this in perspective, this is about the same generation capacity that you have in California and Oregon combined. But from this 78 gigawatt, if you take away South Africa, that leaves only 30 gigawatts for 47 countries, which is about the same that you have as generation capacity in North Carolina. Energy poverty like this cripples economic growth and development prospects in a very serious way. Where people don't have access to reliable electricity, their ability to earn a livelihood or even live a healthy life is sabotaged. The World Bank carried out a study of the impacts of a month-long power blackout in Zanzibar. It found that incomes fell significantly in that 1 month period. And more importantly, the incidence of low birth weight babies born in local hospitals rose by almost 20% during that period. So you can see how much electricity has an impact when it is not there, when it is not available in a reliable way. The bad news is that without immediate action on many fronts, the number of people in sub-Saharan Africa without access to modern energy services will grow by almost 70 million by 2030. Most of this growth will be in the cities. As energy poverty actually rises, the booming growth of cities in Asia, Latin America, and some African countries will pose a compelling and parallel challenge for energy security. In India, for example, power generation requirements driven by rapid population and economic growth are expected to reach 1 terawatt, 1 trillion watts by 2050. This represents a 6-fold increase from where they are today in terms of capacity. These are really big challenges, but they can be big opportunities too if they are handled properly. For Indian companies, the energy growth means more jobs and greater prosperity. And because most of India's power plants to meet that demand are yet to be built, it has options that many countries do not have. For Africa and India and others in the developing world, meeting this demand for power is a necessity to achieve a level of economic development with food security and jobs that we here in Washington take for granted.